Friends, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to new class. In the last classes, we discussed about relational algebra operations and its examples. All of the relational algebra operations are we discussed, and the complete set of relational algebra operations also we discussed. Today we discuss about relational calculus. Other formal query language for relational model is relational calculus. In relational calculus, there is no description of how to evaluate a query. They only specifies what is to be retrieved rather than how to retrieve it. Therefore, it is considered as a non-procedural language. But in the case of relational algebra, we must write a sequence of operation to specify a retrieval request. Hence, it is considered as a procedural way of starting a query. Relational calculus is not related to differential or integral calculus, but it takes the name from predicate calculus. Relational calculus has two forms. Tuple relational calculus, it is proposed by Code in 1972, and domain relational calculus, it is proposed by Lacroix and Pirate in 1977. Look on the tuple relational calculus. In the tuple relational calculus, we are interested in finding tuples for which a predicate is true. This calculus is based on the use of tuple variable. A tuple variable is a variable that ranges over a named relation. That is, variable whose only permitted values are tuples of the relation. A simple tuple relational calculus query of the form T/condition of T, where T is a tuple variable and condition of T is a conditional expression involving T. The result of such query is a set of all tuples T that satisfies the condition. Consider an example to find the employees whose salary is more than 10,000. Here we specify a tuple variable T of an employee relation, then employee of T equal to called range relation. Then the expression becomes T bar employee of T and T dot salary greater than 10,000. The condition employee of T, I already said, that specifies the range relation of the tuple variable T of employee. Each employee tuple T that satisfies the condition T dot salary greater than 10,000 will be retrieved. T dot salary is a reference attribute salary of a variable T. Now we want to sum of the attributes only. In this case, consider an example. Select the names of all employees whose value more than 25,000. In this query, we retrieve only the names of employee rather than the complete information. Now we write the tuple relational expression in the following manner: T dot F name, comma, T dot L name, bar, employee of T and T dot salary greater than 25,000. Informally, we need to specify the following information in relational calculus. A range relation Here the employee of T is a range relation. Range relation capital letter R of T for each tuple variable T. This value is specified by a condition of the form R of T. Here I notate employee of T is a range relation, and in my queries I used a selection condition. A condition to select a particular combination of a tuple. So, the tuple relational expression having a selection condition, and the condition is evaluated for every possible combination of tuples to identify the selected combination for which condition is evaluated to true. Every tuple relational calculus have a formula or a condition. The formula is made up of predicate calculus atoms, which can be one of the following. R of Ti, it is in the form of R of Ti. I already said that employee of T is in the form of R of Ti, where Ti is a tuple variable and R is a relation. And it is in the form of Ti dot A1 OP Tj dot A2. OP is a comparison operators equal to, not equal to, less than or equal to, and A1 and A2 are the attributes of the relation on which Ti ranges and as well as Tj ranges respectively. And it is in the form of a Ti dot A1 OP C or COP Ti dot A1, where C is a constant. The formula is made up of one or more atoms connected via the logical operators and or not. In our example, T dot F name, T dot L name slash employee of T is in the form of a first case R of Ti and is a logical operator, and we use another form Ti dot A OP C. OP is any comparison operation. Then we have used two atoms. The condition is called as formula. Formula can be made up of one of these three things. Next, we have to use another two variations, two special symbols called quantifiers. The quantifiers can also appear in the relational calculus. These are extensional quantifiers, there exist, and a universal quantifier for all. The values for the formula with these quantifiers are discussed later. First, look on the tuple variables quantified by using their exist and for all. We call it as a bounded variable. Other variables are called free variables. The variables that appear in the left side of a bar must be called free variable. In other words, all other tuple variable must be bounded using quantifiers. Then, what are the true values or truth values for the formula? First, we look on existential quantifiers. Existential quantifiers can be used in formula that must be true for at least one instance. ഏതെങ്കിലും ഒരു ഇൻസ്റ്റൻസസ് എങ്കിലും ട്രൂ ആവുന്ന കേസിലാണ് ഈ ഫോർമുല ട്രൂ ആവുന്നത്. ഫോർ എക്സാമ്പിൾ, ഇഫ് എ ഫോർമുല then there exists T of F where T is a tuple variable, the formula there exists a T of f is true if the formula f is evaluated to true for some tuple assigned to free occurrence of T in f. Otherwise, there exists T of f of is false. എഫ് ഇവാലുവേറ്റ് ചെയ്ത് ഏതെങ്കിലും ഒരു ഒക്കറൻസിലെങ്കിലും മിനിമം ഇത് ട്രൂ തരുമെങ്കിൽ മാത്രമാണ് നമുക്ക് ദെയർ എക്സിസ്റ്റൻസ് എന്നുള്ള എക്സിസ്റ്റൻഷ്യൽ ക്വാണ്ടിഫയർ ഉണ്ടായിരിക്കുകയുള്ളൂ. ഇതിൻ്റെ ഒരു എക്സാമ്പിൾ നമുക്ക് നോക്കാം. റിട്രീവ് ദി നെയിം ആൻഡ് അഡ്രസ് ഓഫ് ഓൾ എംപ്ലോയീസ് ഹു വർക്ക് ഫോർ റിസർച്ച് ഡിപ്പാർട്ട്മെൻറ്റ്. വി നീഡ് ദി നെയിം ആൻഡ് അഡ്രസ് ഓഫ് ഓൾ എംപ്ലോയീസ് ഇൻ എ research department. First of all, what are the tuple variables we need? Some specific or selected variables are needed. T dot f name, T dot l name, T dot address are the needed variables. Then range relation is employee of T and the logical operator is and. Then സപ്പോസ് ഡിപ്പാർട്ട്മെൻറ്റ് ടേബിളിലുള്ള ഡി നെയിം റിസർച്ച് എന്നുള്ളതും എംപ്ലോയി ടേബിളിലെ ഡി നമ്പറും ഡിപ്പാർട്ട്മെൻറ്റ് ടേബിളിലെ ഡി നമ്പറും ഈക്വലായി വരുന്ന വല്ല റിസർച്ച് ഡിപ്പാർട്ട്മെൻറ്റും ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അതാണ് നമ്മൾ റിട്രീവ് ചെയ്യണം. അതിനാണ് ദെയർ എക്സിസ്റ്റ് എന്നുള്ള കീവേഡ് നമ്മൾ കൊടുത്തിട്ടുള്ളത്. ഇഫ് എ ടപ്പിൾ ദാറ്റ് സാറ്റിസ്ഫൈസ് ദി കണ്ടീഷൻ സ്പെസിഫൈഡ് ഇൻ ദി ക്വറി, ദി ആട്രിബ്യൂട്ട് നെയിം, എഫ് നെയിം, എൽ നെയിം ആൻഡ് അഡ്രസ് ആർ retrieved for each such tuple. This is called existential quantifiers. Then we have a universal quantifier. Universal quantifier is used in statement about every instance. For all, if f is a formula, then so is for all T of f, where T is a tuple variable, the formula f evaluate to true for every tuple assigned free occurrence of T in f. Otherwise, it is false. Universal quantifiers, the tuple variable T ranges over all possible tuples. These are the tuple relational calculus. In tuple relational calculus, we have to find the variables ranges over the tuple and need a range relation for these tuples. We look on the domain relational calculus. In tuple relational calculus, we use variables that ranges over the tuple in a relation. In domain relational calculus, we also use variables, but in this case, the variable take their value from domain of the attribute rather than the tuples of the relation. An expression is in the domain relational calculus has the following general form: x1, x2, etc., xn bar f of or condition of x1, x2, etc., xn, where x1, x2 are the domain variable that ranges over the domains of the attribute and f is a formula with free variables x1, x2, etc., xn. Consider an example. Here we made a formula of atoms. It is slightly different from those in the tuple relational calculus. Here also we form a formula that is made up of different types of atoms and they are connecting by using any of the logical operators. Consider an example. Retrieve the birth date and address of employee whose name is John Smith. ഇവിടെ നമുക്ക് ജോൺ സ്മിത്തിൻ്റെ ബർത്ത് ഡേറ്റും അഡ്രസ്സുമാണ് വേണ്ടത്. ഇൻ tuple relational calculus we just use t dot birth date and t dot address and employee of t and t dot l name equal to John and t dot l name equal to Smith. But in the case of domain relational calculus, we have an abbreviated notation of each and every attributes in this relation. Here I use employee QRSTUVWXYZ is the abbreviated notation for the employee. L name, M name, F name, SSN, birth date, address, etc. Then in that employee relation we need only birth date and address. Then the specified birth date and address using the free domain variable U for birth date and V for address. So we need to retrieve the U and V variables. So U V bar, there exists a QRSTWXYZ of employee and Q equal to John and R equal to B and S is equal to Smith. Here the notation used for domain relational calculus. Here the atom or formula is made slightly different from the tuple relational calculus. In tuple relational calculus, we have only range relation first of all. But in domain relational calculus, we have a named relation with domain variables. There exists Q, there exists R, the domain variables. This way we write the queries of domain relational calculus. Today we discuss two important concepts in relational calculus: tuple relational calculus and domain relational calculus. The relational calculus is a non-procedural way of query language for a relational model. Non-procedural way of writing or retrieving queries from our relational model is called relational calculus. These have in the form of two forms: tuple relational calculus and domain relational calculus. Thank you students. Thank you for watching this video.